Hello, everyone. Grateful to be here, as is the Council of Light. And we are bringing forward today an energetic conversation and transmission of light to spotlight the idea that your perception can shift, it's malleable, and your perception is key. And some of you already know this intellectually. It's part of what you've been practicing and learning. But we're hopefully going to bring in some deeper layers today and a process to help you energetically shift something you can't even see with regard to your perception that is creating a bit of a clouded lens, or we'll call it a lower octave interpretation with regard to a particular area of life, or particular, it's like area of life is probably the best words I have, but they're just showing me different areas, avenues, pathways, even like daily routine things where we can generate a particular way of perceiving it, which is another way of saying we've kind of gone into conclusion around it to some degree, where we keep perpetuating the broken record that actually has a dissonance to it. And if we were to stand back from, it's like observer mode, not get attached to what we're perceiving or how we're perceiving it, we can allow our higher self to shift our perception. It's really a vibrational shift here in relationship to whatever that is, to a bit of a higher vibration, a bit of a higher octave, just enough, just a tweak in perception vibrationally, so that we can start to see it through a different lens. You could say more positive lens, or more optimistic lens, a lens that allows for whatever's been perpetuating in our reality at a certain frequency to actually go to a higher octave, because we've allowed our relationship in the perception of it to dial up. And this is far beyond intellect, far beyond like understanding, far beyond the ideas of right or wrong. And we're speaking in terms literally of metaphysics and frequency. And that you have the ability to tweak something simply by inviting it to move to a higher frequency. And you're not inviting the thing external from you to shift. You're inviting your higher self to shift how you're perceiving it. Letting that come in, energetic downloads around that. Because if you can see it just a little bit differently, through a little bit different lens, and they're showing me the idea of focusing a microscope to see more clearly. If you can see it through just a little bit higher frequency lens, you allow it to be different for you. You move into a new relationship with it. You're now at a higher frequency regarding that hamster wheel experience that, again, has been a hamster wheel. And the reason we're bringing this in is at this time, as we enter, really, we've already passed through the doorway of eclipse season. It's all about kind of this idea of being willing to let go of what we can't take with us into the new. That's really the theme right now, really through September. And so this is a very empowered, proactive way to do that, where we don't have to get tumbled in the surf in order to wake up to a new perception. It's like they're showing me the idea of getting slapped in the face to wake us up. And instead of that method, that mechanism, we can actually employ a mechanism where we very specifically, proactively choose to invite our higher self to reinterpret our frequency of perception in relationship to something. And so we're going to bring it in two different ways. One way to do it is to not have to know at this level what's getting tweaked, but simply to stand in the truth of who you are as an infinite being connected to an infinite source, recognizing that this is a great grand time for liberation. And in this case, we're pointing to the liberation from ways of perceiving that, in a sense, are holding us back from, meaning we as humans, me, Omaji, and you all, from taking, like entering into the new at a higher octave. We don't want to take the old with us. And so if we can see it through a different lens, that's kind of step one. Then once we're meeting it at a different place, it can actually shift and move out. And then we see it clearly of, oh, I don't want to take this way of being with me, or I don't want to take, it's like they're showing the idea of a habit, a habitual way of being, a habitual daily routine, like an aspect of a daily routine where we've just always done it. We've always thought about something a certain way. We've always perceived something a certain way. And because we haven't been willing to shift out of it, we just keep getting the same old in relationship to it. And so this is about really honing in on, it's not about the external. The external is reflecting what's going on in my energy. And so the first way we're going to bring this in is to invite you to feel into something in your life that's felt like that idea of broken record, beating, or showing me the idea of beating your head against a brick wall. And now they're bringing in the remembering, the idea of you can't solve a problem on the level it was created. And so this energetic process is intended to support you to first present something. One thing that you've noticed is kind of this, has this friction to it, or this resistance to it, or this lower frequency dissonance in relationship to, you might pick something you do every day or a couple times a week. They're showing even the idea of taking out the garbage, or doing the dishes, or the laundry, or paying the bills. Pick something simple, but something that you notice is like something you just have this lower frequency relationship with. You dread, oh, it's coming. Oh, I have to do this. Maybe it's getting your teeth cleaned. Whatever the thing is. And we're going to bring in a gentle reminder that you're never upset for the reason you think. It's not really about taking out the trash or brushing your teeth or organizing the junk drawer. And so that's meant to allow you to move into even more distance from it, observer mode, release all attachment off of needing to fix or change that particular thing. And anywhere you've been trying to make it go away or find a way around it, again, fix it, change it. Are you willing to, for just the next 5 minutes, release your attachment to it needing to be different in any way, or for your way of experiencing it to be different? Are you willing to release all attachment off of that, off of the external, off of the relationship, off of the, they're showing me a lot of creative energy, control, going external, trying to resist it or make it different or fix it. And retrieve, just imagine retrieving all that energy back to your line of light. Okay, hands off for the next 5 minutes. I'm just going to focus on my vibration within my river of light. I want to focus on the light that I am. We're going to invite your body, Deva, and teams to do the same. And so you can just imagine that this is an invitation to invite your higher self to do that for you. Bring all my energy, awareness, focus off of that external thing back to me. I'm willing to release all the meaning I've given it. Are you willing? And it's with this attitude of, okay, it's not really about this thing. I think it's about this thing, this kink in the hose that I've been perpetually experiencing. I think it's because I hate to take out the trash. What if it's not really about that? And invite your higher self to sit with guides and advisors, body, team, same, to look deeper. What's this really about? Release your attachment to need to know at this level. You can invite and imagine your higher self sitting with guides and advisors, body, Deva, same, team, same, in an appropriate dimension, looking at it, getting clear, not trying to fix it, just getting clear on what it's about. And it's usually related to an aspect that we've given meaning to, that it means something if we do this thing or if this thing presents itself. And so it's this idea of this attitude of, I'm willing to release all the meaning I've given it. Higher self, guides, will you look, see what's really going on here. Get clear. And the willingness to release the meaning is really willingness to look at it first, and the willingness to release the meaning is a necessary step to allow for the perception to shift. If we're attached to it meaning something about us, about our world, about our experience, about what we can or can't have or do, really any meaning, we put it in a box of expectations, judgments, and conclusions that our relationship to it and our experience of it can't get out of. It just keeps recycling whatever in the box. And it keeps getting validated. And so we'll use the example of taking out the trash. See, I hate taking out the trash. See, I hate taking out the trash, like every week when I have to do it, or every twice a week when I have to do it, or if it's at work every day, whatever it is. And so recognize that the box is the box. Again, concepts, judgments, conclusions, expectations, and maybe even a lot of past history where we've had bad experiences regarding whatever it is. And we keep pulling what's happened in the past into the now and then projecting it into the future, thus the broken record. So you have the power to choose in every moment, but we're inviting you in this now moment to choose to release the meaning you once gave it and that you maybe have been giving it up to a few seconds ago. And imagine and invite, like gathering up all that meaning, everything you decided it meant, all the memories around it, all the experiences, all the even like fears of what might or might not happen that we have placed in that box of limited possibilities, because it's really a limited possibility box, which isn't who you are as an infinite being with infinite nature. And imagine gathering up all the stuff you've built that box out of and handing it up to your higher self, maybe putting it in an orb and sending it up to your higher self, guides, advisors. I'm willing to release all the meaning I've given this. Will you reinterpret my relationship with all of it to a higher octave? Will you shift the way I perceive all of this, the way I perceive this thing or this daily duty or this aspect of life. Maybe it's a relationship with me. Maybe it's my thoughts, my behaviors, my physical form, being here on planet Earth, incarnated. Will you reinterpret whatever this is I'm focusing on in this now moment for review? Again, we encourage you to pick one thing and come back and do this process again if you want. Will you reinterpret my relationship with it to a higher octave and reinvent, dial up to a higher frequency, my perception regarding it? I'm inviting higher self, a shift in perception to a higher frequency, to more enlightened lens. Not necessarily fully enlightened yet. We do it a little bit at a time. Just enough, tweak it just enough. Whatever I'm ready for at this now moment. And then in a week, you can do it again in relationship to the same thing if you want. Keep working it, keep chipping away at it until it completely transforms. And then all the unprocessed emotions. So you might have been using your relationship with taking out the trash to point to something deeper. So inviting your higher self to recognize what that is and to set up appropriate debriefs at the end of whatever incarnation is appropriate and or healing chambers to address that deeper, we're going to call it a wound or a schism in consciousness. Invite a healing in that chamber, in that debrief, activating all vibrations of spiritual lessons, returning, retrieving fragments, power, responsibility appropriately, and any empathic challenges or bundles you're trying to process that aren't yours, because that schism you're having in relationship to that experience might not even be your schism. Could have been mom or dad's or somebody from a previous incarnation that you took on as though it were yours. Sending information, returning responsibility. And even the smallest in what appears to be an inconvenience in our daily routine, they're showing me those are the pieces that we tend to overlook, but actually hidden behind the energetic closet, like the curtain in the energetic closet, could be something major that's being invited to heal. That if you were to shift that one little thing, it's like this has this butterfly effect or this domino effect that then everything else now can shift. So sometimes we're trying to shift a bigger piece to the puzzle. And actually this little piece, this little daily annoyance, schism, dissonance needs to shift first, and then everything else can follow. So we're just inviting that healing to complete and then to ripple and reflect appropriately through the time spiral continuum. And you might feel that. And then balance and stabilize, update all grids, all reference points, all ways in which you perceive and are perceived, ground more for higher vibration, balance all the electrical magnetic energy. Good. You just shifted you. You just had an enlightenment moment. You can take a moment, thank your guides, thank the crew, the divine crew, helping, supporting, holding safe space. And thank yourself, Body Deva. And then we're going to bring in another way you can do this process. So let's say that you've rolled up your sleeves and you're using this eclipse season and really now through the solstice, which is all about energetic cleanup. It's a purging that can happen either proactively or other ways. And we're encouraging the empowered way, the elegant way, the aligned way, the honoring way, which these processes help you do because you're shifting in a conscious way, in a proactive way. It doesn't have to be tumble in the surf time. This other way that you can approach this same idea is that maybe there's a perception that's creating a dissonance in my fields that I can't see. So then you can invite your higher self to sit with guides and advisors, body, team, same. Maybe it's all in the same form. Maybe it's different forms, whatever's appropriate. We don't have to know at this level. It's about asking for it, choosing it. And then take a moment and use your imagination to hold an awareness that it's happening in some dimension. You can even imagine there's this crystalline chamber everyone's gathered in, or a crystalline conference room, or an orb, or an energetic forum. Maybe it's on a beach or in a field or on a ship, spaceship, whatever's appropriate, whatever feels aligned for you. And there's this conference, this collaboration, this review happening. And it's like, well, let's look at this. What's the perception that hasn't yet become conscious that is informing all of these other ways of perceiving that creates this dissonance or this holding back or this? They're showing me this idea of a levee or a dam keeping the water from running through. And so if you're willing, you can invite your higher self, your guides, body's higher self and guides, to get clear on what that one perception is. Again, we're focused on one. That if it were to tweak just a little bit to a higher octave, seen through a higher octave lens, and it could just be the slightest elevation in frequency, it would create this amazing ripple effect in your experience of being able to perceive through a higher octave lens in different areas of life, or maybe a certain area of life, maybe in relationship to self or relationship to your journey. And so just invite that clarity to happen in a higher realm. And then it's you being willing, if you're willing. And you can just say, I'm willing to allow this to shift. Higher self, guides, team, will you shift it for me? I'm willing. And just imagine that going up in frequency. There it goes. Balance, stabilize, allow it to ripple and reflect. Update all grids, all reference points, all ways in which you perceive and are perceived. Shake out, reboot, ground more for a higher vibration. So we're inviting you to continue to journey with us if you choose. During this eclipse season, we're going to be doing a 999 Stargate transmission on September 9th, as well as we're just launched a new series, and you can check that out on our website at embracingtheinfinite.com. And in the interim, we just encourage you to use these tools to the degree that feels appropriate for you in a proactive way during this time of great change, to be able to create small shifts for you that have a major, massive impact on your new launch point as you welcome the new. Thank you for showing up. Much love.